You're listening to the Just Japan podcast. Everything you want to know about Japan.
Well, hey there, everyone, and welcome to episode number 113 of the Just Japan podcast, everything you want to know about Japan. My name is Kevin O'Shea, and I am the host of the Just Japan podcast, a weekly podcast that brings you different aspects of life here in Japan. Each and every week, I bring on a different guest, or in the case of this week's podcast, a panel of guests to discuss different aspects of life in Japan, living here, working here, having fun here, all of that kind of stuff. And this week, we're going to be talking about dealing with the oppressive heat and humidity of the Japanese summer. That's right, summer in Japan, in many regions of Japan, has a bit of a reputation for being kind of tough to deal with and manage. And this week, I've got the returning panelists, kind of the regulars of the Just Japan podcast. If the Just Japan podcast was Cheers, possibly we would have Norm, Cliff, and Frasier. I don't know. I'm not going to say who would be which one. But three friends of the show. It's always wonderful to have on. This week we have Kansai PJ. We've got Andrew Higgins in Japan. And of course, Jim, a.k.a. Mully, all on to talk about dealing with the heat of summer, the dog days of summer here in Japan. Of course, all the information, all of the things we talk about today in this episode will be in the show notes at justjapanstuff.com. Justjapanstuff.com is the home of the Just Japan podcast. So go check everything out there. Now, of course, you can always find the Just Japan podcast on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on Stitcher Internet Radio, on Libsyn. All those links will be in the show notes. So go check it out and subscribe to the show if you haven't already. So for anyone who is in Japan listening to this episode right now, you will know that we are in the midst of the rainy season in Japan. Now, I've been living here for 8 years, and I have to admit that when in the past, when I would say rainy season, I probably would be using air quotes around rainy season because it really wasn't very rainy. It wasn't different than any other time of year. There was no kind of substantial increase in the amount of precipitation. But this year is quite a bit different. Oh my goodness. I mean, it just doesn't seem to stop raining. And if it's not raining, it's cloudy. And it's been basically raining every day for the last week and a half. We actually have a cloudy day today. It's apparently not going to rain today. Maybe a chance of seeing a bit more sun later on this afternoon. I'm recording this on Sunday, the 26th of June. But yeah, and I mean, apparently it's gonna be dry until maybe late tomorrow afternoon. Then the rain will start again, and it's going to rain until Thursday. And oh my goodness. So what are you going to do, right? It's just rainy season. We get into that in this week's podcast, a little bit about rainy season and how that helps create the humidity that makes summer so fun here in Japan. What else we got going on? Just a few days left, guys, in the Just Japan podcast Teespring t-shirt campaign. We're not doing so well, to be honest, which is a bit, well, what are you going to do? But I would really love it if you would pick up yourself a Just Japan podcast t-shirt. Show your pride for the podcast that you love so much. They're available over on Teespring. The link will be in the show notes at justjapanstuff.com. If you go to teespring.com/justjapanpodcast, maybe something like that, you'll probably find us. The campaign ends on the 4th of July. We're not at our target yet, so we need to meet our target in order for Teespring to make the t-shirts and ship them out. And they come in a wide variety of sizes, some big sizes too. They're made in America, shipped out from America, but anywhere in the world you can get it. No matter where you are in the world, you can get yourself a t-shirt. I've ordered one, and I'm really hoping that we hit our target and I can get my shirt as well. So go to teespring.com. Actually, go check the links in the show notes under episode number 113. There will be a big prominent link with pictures of what the t-shirts look like. Go there, support the podcast, get yourself a t-shirt. Again, you've only got a few days left, so this campaign will end on July 4th, 2016. And if we don't hit our goal, well, there will be no shirts, and that's that. So come on, guys. Let's do this. All right, let's hop into the interview portion, the panel discussion, and this week's episode of the Just Japan podcast, all about life here in Japan during the summer. All right, everyone, welcome to episode number 113 of the Just Japan podcast. Everything you want to know about Japan. Yay! And we got a bit of a party tonight here.
Woohoo!
Ghosts of We've got the ghosts of Christmas past. No.
That's not nice.
No, wait, no.
Who's that?
Wait, who is that? Who said that?
Which one is the ghost of Christmas past?
No one is.
I got the potato chips.
Oh my goodness. Hey, so we're back with another episode of the Just Japan podcast. 4 episodes this month. It's been a while since that has happened. I'm very happy about that. And we've got some returning guests. So before we jump into this week's topic, I would ask you guys to briefly introduce yourselves. Maybe I'm going to do this in order of appearance on the podcast. So we're going to start with Jim.
Yay!
And then PJ, and then Andrew.
All right.
So Jim, can you start the introductions off and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you are and what you do and all that stuff?
Okay, my name is Jim. Everybody calls me Mully. I am in Shizuoka, Japan. I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. I've been living over here since 1991. I've been on the Just Japan podcast about a dozen times. Yeah, I like playing guitar and fast women. And yeah, I guess that's about it. You can find anything you want at mullysplace.com.
Nice. Okay, PJ. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wow. How does one follow that? I've been on my name is PJ Kansai PJ. I've been on, half a dozen times. More, I'm sure.
I think more than that.
I get lost. My point is that Mully wins. I live in Osaka, Japan. I'm a university teacher, and I have no hair.
Hey, same as me.
Well, you have some hair, just not much hair.
All right, Andrew.
Well, what's up? This is Andrew Higgins, aka Higgins in Japan. I live in Ibaraki Prefecture, just north of Tokyo, and I make videos on YouTube, and I coach softball, and I'm an English teacher, and all that good stuff. Facebook.com/Higgins in Japan for more information on what I do.
Cool. All right. So, folks out there listening, I asked these 3 fine gentlemen to join me this evening to talk about an important topic for those of you who live in Japan, who are going to come to Japan, who have aspirations of coming to Japan, and that is dealing with summer in Japan. The heat of summer, the dog days of summer. Yes.
Well, the worst part of it is like right now, we're in the rain season. We're in the middle of the rain season right now.
And it really is this year, right? Like
yes.
Yeah.
I've been in Japan for 8 years now, and God, I can't believe 8 years. But I've been in here for 8 years. Wow, time flies. But I mean, often when they talk about rainy season, it's kind of rainy season in name only.
Right.
Recently, yeah.
But it's
really raining this year.
Yeah,
and
it is.
Here's the thing. I've been here long enough that I've been through these rainy seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And when this lifts up, oh my God, the humidity kicks in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like, this isn't the rain season. This is the humidity creating season.
The dawn before the sweat storm.
Yeah, exactly.
The rain is bearable. Like, I can deal with the rain.
Mm-hmm.
But then once that goes and there's no breeze and there's just humid, like it's the worst.
And you're working at a time right now where like it'll rain in the morning and clear up in the afternoon and starts kicking a little bit and you're like, oh.
I was just gonna say, actually, that's exactly what happened, at least here in Kobe yesterday. It poured rain in the morning, and actually we had like landslide warnings. There was a Keiho here, so there was like ground loosening flood warnings here in Kobe. And obviously with
Kobe, not Port Island, right? Because if you're
we had landslide warnings landslide warnings on the man-made island that is 1 meter above sea level. They move very slowly. It's no. Obviously, like with Kobe, there's a mountain range at the back of the city. So there were landslide warnings. So it's applied to the whole city. So actually, public schools were not canceled, but basically in the morning. And our school, which is a private school, so basically I think it was around 10:30. Public school kids went back to school, but it rained a lot in the morning. But then by mid-morning, the sun came out, the skies cleared up, it was hot and sunny and beautiful, and then it got sticky.
Muggy and ugly.
Oh, yeah. So I'm curious, guys. Now, can you maybe each take a moment to tell us where you're from in the States and what was summer like where you grew up versus... I mean, not even versus Japan. What was it like where you grew up, and did that in any way prepare you for summer in Japan?
Can I go, guys? Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. We're pretty much on the same level as Shizuoka, where I'm at here in Japan. It's pretty much the same. The winters get really cold. We'll get into the minuses, and that's in Fahrenheit. Summer gets really, really hot. Up in the 90s, sometimes over 100.
Well, that's in Cincinnati.
Yeah, and
okay.
we've got a clear cut 4 seasons in Cincinnati. It's not too different from here, other than it does get where I'm at in Japan. It does get colder than where I'm here, and the summer, the heat's about the same, but the humidity here is just like Tarzan would sweat in this place, right? Like. It's just like the humidity is what kicks it in here.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And I've been like in Cincinnati and in Florida, and Florida is real humid and muggy, but it doesn't touch this place.
Yeah, Andrew, how about you?
Well, so I was born in Ohio, but I only lived there for a couple of years, and then moved to Texas, and I lived there for about 11 years. And Texas is really hot, but it's very dry. At least where I was at, I wasn't near Houston or anything like that. I was up further northeast side. So it would get really hot, but not anywhere near as humid as it gets here. And then lived in Texas for 11 years. Then moved up to Detroit, lived there for 3 years. Then moved to Pennsylvania. So it kind of is in the same geographical location. The winters are really cold, summers are hot, but yeah, nothing really prepared me for the humidity of being here during the summertime.
How about you, PJ?
Well, I've lived all over the States. I guess my formative places would be Hawaii and Arizona. Arizona was a lot hotter, but a lot drier.
Okay, yeah.
And Hawaii was a lot cooler and a lot drier. I mean, it's a small island compared to Japan, or a series of islands. So the wind keeps it moving out. I've never felt the hell that I feel here anywhere in the States.
Right.
Yeah, I grew up in Eastern Canada. Nova Scotia. Like literally, at the time, I mean, climate change is definitely changing things. But when I was a kid growing up, literally a hot summer day was probably 24, 25 degrees Celsius with no humidity. So,
yeah.
So nice.
Yeah. Winters the winters weren't super cold. We got a lot of snow, but we got damp winters. But yeah, summer was not bad at all. It did not prepare me for this. So, okay. So summer in Japan, we've already been able to figure out that it's a humid time of year. It's a humid time of year. So,
I'll tell you what. Just a little side note here, and I'll give you. I put the link in the little chat over here. I don't know if you saw it or not.
Okay.
But there's a video up on my channel I put up probably 2-3 years ago, and the title is "It's a Moist One Today."
Okay.
Where it was almost 100% humidity, and it was clear skies, and at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's the thing is the morning is you're like for like an hour or so you're like, what, it's gonna be a nice day, and then just out of nowhere you're like, oh, I need to take another shower because it's been an hour now since
I had my last shower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do any of you guys carry a change of shirts with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I always have at least one change of clothes in my
Yeah.
I bring to work.
I usually do because I have like my sports stuff that I wear for softball. So I usually, will just change into that.
Well, I mean,
Um,
I myself, like
but
I cycle to work in the
uh,
mornings normally. So I'll go to work in just wearing a t-shirt and a pair of like just like running shorts. And then I get to work and I have to change into like kind of, well, cool biz at this time of year, and we can talk about that. But basically like a dress shirt and slacks. But then I always I wear like an undershirt under the dress shirt, but I also bring an extra set of those too, just in case partway through the day I need to change into yet another shirt. But yeah, so I'm curious.
Well,
Yes.
I've learned not to wear like dark colored shirts, like a dark blue. Not just because of the sweat, because I mean everybody's sweating, you're gonna get that, but because once you get inside where it cools off a little bit, you get those salt stains on your.
Yes, yes, I see that. I normally don't wear dark shirts.
Mm.
But you definitely, with some of my coworkers, I'll see the salt at the end of the day, salt forming on various parts of their shirt, which says a lot because I mean I've only ever seen that when running marathons.
Right.
But okay, so it's bloody hot here, in the summertime, very humid. So let's think. What are some ways, some strategies? Initially, and one thing we've already kind of touched on, the whole concept of bringing extra sets of clothing to work. What are some different strategies that you guys use to keep relatively, well, not even relatively, it's almost impossible. How do you try to keep comfortable?
Yeah, try is the key word.
How do you attempt, sometimes in vain, to stay quasi comfortable during the summer months here in Japan? And I'm just curious. I mean, there's a billion ways, but let's throw some ideas out there.
Shower.
Yeah, just get used to the idea that you're going to have to take multiple showers during the day.
I take 3, 4 sometimes. 5 is stretching it, but 3 or 4, yeah, easily. And cold, lukewarm, tepid is as warm as I'll go once we're in June.
Yeah.
See, I'm a little different in that I turn the heat up in the shower in the summer.
Really?
So that way when I get out of the shower, the room's cool.
I think I normally, as far as showers go, on a weekday when I'm working, I always have a shower in the morning when I wake up. That's just actually my wake up shower. It's the only time of day when I'm actually kind of cool. And then I will have, for example, if I'm cycling home, the moment I walk in the door, before I even think of eating dinner, I have a quick shower, a cold shower. And then I eat and stuff, and then I have another shower later on. Yeah, and then on the weekend, sometimes we're talking. If I'm around the house for the day, it might be 3 or 4 a day. Yeah. Showers are very important. Cold showers. Okay, what are some other things that? Not just for you guys specifically, but in Japan in general. What are some of the things that are pretty common, just different methods, things that are pitched, advertised, sold to us about how to cope with the heat?
There's quite a few sprays, right? I don't know anything about them. You guys can probably go ahead and take that. I shouldn't have even said anything. Just my ego took over. I want to speak first.
I've actually got a bottle of the 8-4 Men. It's like a spray deodorant, but it's got I think this has got menthol in it.
Yeah.
So it's deodorant. It's a spray deodorant. They also make I'm also holding an empty bottle because I found this earlier. It's the same stuff, but in a liquid powder type stuff. Like it's a liquid that you just kind of like can use, but then when it dries, it kind of turns into a powder.
Okay.
And that's also got a very, very cooling effect to it. So, towel off after you get out of the shower, put this on. It works as deodorant, also cools you off really quickly. I usually keep it in my bag at school, and midway through the day, if it's if it's a hot one, just run into the locker room quick and throw some of this liquid powder stuff on to kind of cool off. And it's also scented heavily, so it kind of will mask anything that might have happened during the day that will cause you to not smell so pleasant. So.
Well, I know that like I don't use it myself, but a lot of my coworkers use the Axe body spray.
Yeah, that's another popular
which
one.
has quite a pungent aroma at times. But it does seem to be popular. I was just thinking when it comes to mentholated stuff, I haven't used it in a few years, but when I first came here, I actually had menthol body wash.
Yeah, I
yeah.
one of those. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's pretty, how shall I say, invigorating.
Yeah, that's mild, to put it mildly, but yes.
Yeah.
Well, I remember back in the day, what was that shampoo? Seabreeze?
Yeah.
Oh,
Seabreeze had like that mentholated like shampoo. When you put it on your hair, it burned, but then it like felt really, really good.
Well, they have a lot of stuff like
that
here.
I think they stopped that.
There's other brands though that are mentholated.
Yeah, I actually use I don't know the name of the brand of it, but yeah, it's definitely menthol infused shampoo.
Meth infused.
Meth infused.
Oh, there we
it's
go.
really expensive.
Yeah.
Hard to find in Japan, and you can do a lot of time if you're caught with that shampoo.
But it's great shampoo, trust me.
Yeah, but I mean, and also it's gonna wake you up in the morning when you wash your shall I say your private areas with.
Yeah.
Woo! It's menthol. And speaking of menthol, that reminds me of one thing that I found very useful as a teacher who often has to go to not often, I guess once a year, summer camp. The Gatsby body wipes.
Oh yeah, the ice towels.
The ice towels.
Yeah.
So what are those, Andrew? Maybe you could let us know a little bit about that. I mean, I use them. And I especially cycling, because like when I'm cycling to school in the morning, especially when it's like July and August, it's like I can't turn the sweat tabs off once I get off that bike and I change into my clothes, and everyone's like, "Are you okay, Kevin?" And it's like, "Not really." And I definitely use those Gatsby ice type body towels.
Oh yeah.
So what are those?
Well, basically they're the only thing I can think of to compare them to are like the baby wipes, but for adults.
And you're definitely not wiping your bum with those.
No, not at all. Those have got a lot of menthol in them.
And by the way, I've learned that the hard way after literally when I ran a marathon.
Oh no.
I thought I would clean myself up with one of those. It was one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my life. Transformative moment, one might say. Yeah, it's hell to the gods. But yeah, so it's like a giant baby wipe, but instead of having some kind of mild water-like substance on it.
Yeah, it's got deodorant and it cools you off and, does a really good job of like making you not smell like sweat anymore.
Yeah.
Now, they're not going to get you clean, but nothing beats a shower. So don't try to think you're just going to be able to go a couple days and hit yourself with an ice towel and get away with it.
And where can you buy the ice towels?
Oh, 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Every
Yeah.
supermarket,
Anywhere, right?
every convenience store is going to have them.
I wouldn't be surprised if like big cities like where Tokyo, Nagoya, Osaka, Kobe, where you guys, I wouldn't be surprised they have them in vending machines either.
I'm sure they do somewhere, probably. Yeah.
I kind of wish that instead of handing out the little pocket tissues, that they'd hand out that during the summer.
True, right? Here's some Gatsby body wipes.
Hand them out to the people at least going on the train, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my god.
Here, hit your pits with this before you get on the train.
No, I'm curious now. As you say that, is there a problem with riding trains in the summertime in Japan?
Oh my god. Man, I tell you what, you get on at rush hour. Ooh, swill. I mean, just body odor. Ooh.
But I've heard that people in Japan don't stink. I've heard that.
That's a crock of
Who
crap.
told you that?
I was told before I came to Japan that it's only foreigners who have that issue. People from America and Canada and other countries.
Right. Well, oh, okay. Well, it must be just the collective,
Yeah.
Get so many in there, just a little tiny bit of odor, it adds up, right?
Yeah,
Maybe it's just the rotted souls of those who have departed in previous summers.
Yeah, that's true. The trains can be pretty ripe in the summertime, can't they?
And
Yeah.
the thing is, like, I've kind of gotten to the feeling of like, you know what? Everybody stinks, and it's the summer. Like,
Right.
I can't be so concerned about how I smell. Like, I do take a shower every day. Trust me. Like it.
Right. But
Really?
Andrew, one thing for people like you and me is not only do we get the armpit, we get the fat smell.
Well, that's what you use. You got to use like the towel and the the loofah to get underneath.
Yeah, that's why I drive a car.
In and around. Well, yeah, me too. But
no, but okay. So as far as we know, public transit can sometimes be a bit of a a challenge and adventure to take part in the summertime. Now, with regards to we got we talked about like the body towels. We talked about changing, bringing extra changes of clothes to work. What's the deal with Cool Biz? And also, do different shops in Japan like Uniqlo and stuff, do they sell can't speak. Do they sell special types of clothing for summer? Guys.
yes,
I'm asking these questions. I mean, I know the answers. These are they're not rhetorical. I'm just curious to hear other people's, answers for this. So, like, okay, so for example, okay, what the heck is Cool Biz? Because that just sounds weird to a lot of people out there who obviously don't know anything about Japan.
Well, it was wasn't it a campaign by the was the Environment Ministry?
I think originally something like that. Yeah.
Something to do with the electricity consumption, I believe, and like not using your air conditioners.
So they essentially they don't want people. I mean, they want to cut down on power usation.
Right.
So don't use your air conditioners as much.
Yeah, I think what it was like, especially like in office buildings, so they had a more open dress code for the summer.
Because how would a typical Japanese salaryman, as they call them, dress?
Oh, a suit. I mean,
a suit and tie, right?
Yeah, suit and tie. Sure.
So once Cool Biz season hits, which I think is typically in May.
Cool Biz suits, it's so see-through, you're practically naked.
Right.
That's why I don't wear any of that shit. I just wear what I want. None of that works. It's all a joke.
Right. But I mean, a typical Cool Biz outfit, for example, for you have the luxury of being able to do that. But if you worked at a big company,
sure.
I guess, a shop like Uniqlo, and I wear these myself because we where I work, we adhere to that kind of Cool Biz thing. They spell. Oh, I said it again. Sell, not spell, Kevin. They sell slacks, for example, that are made of special, like, kind of thin, really thin, like wicking material.
Right.
Yes.
They're actually, I gotta admit, they're pretty comfortable to wear. Very light. And you're allowed to wear. You don't have to wear a tie.
Right.
And you can wear a short-sleeved business shirt.
Right.
And which, of course, I'm such a firm believer that short-sleeved business shirts look oh so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Oh, they're so hip.
Yeah, but I tell you what, man, when you hit that wall of frickin' humidity, sweat, swill in this country, yeah, all bets are off. I'll wear that short sleeve shirt.
Well, no, I do actually. I wore one today.
I don't. I refuse to.
Yeah, I don't have that luxury.
If it's a dress shirt, I roll up the sleeves. I'm usually in a polo shirt. It's a uni teacher though. It's different.
Yeah.
We don't have the uniform. We can wear what we want. And we have aircon in our rooms mostly when they're working. When it's not, I send the students home early.
Well, I got to admit, where I work, I am pretty comfortable because I do have air conditioning, and we have that in all of our classrooms and teachers.
That makes a difference.
But I work at a private school.
We have well, here's something that may not be well known outside of Japan. For example, my school. And I think this is pretty typical around elementary schools and junior high and high schools. we're not allowed to turn on the AC unless it's over 28 degrees centigrade.
Oh my God. Kill me now.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
I mean, I turn it on anyway. And when they bitch at me, I tell them, I'm not going to sit in here and sweat all morning.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's a struggle for a lot of kids. I mean, because a lot of kids in public schools. I spent 1 year as an ALT, which is an assistant language teacher in public schools, and I worked at three elementary schools and a junior high school. The junior high school had AC, actually, but none of the elementary schools did.
Right.
They just had fans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And very sweaty kids.
And to top that off, okay, well, in defense, the kids are wearing shorts and t-shirts.
Yes, true, yeah.
But they're also wearing those same shorts and t-shirts in the middle of winter.
It's true.
True.
Yeah,
it's snowing outside. It's snowing outside, and they're doing gym class wearing the same shorts and t-shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
Snowing gyms.
Yeah, very true. Okay, guys. So I'm curious about back home in Canada, Canuckistan, northern Canuckistan, where I'm from. We got this amazing thing called central air. Yeah, central heating, central air conditioning. Yeah, houses in the winter are, when it might be minus 35 outside. You're walking around in your house wearing a pair of shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, because you got a nice toasty 72 going on in there.
Exactly. Right? So, yes, I'm not sure what that is. What would that be in Celsius?
Warm enough.
Warm enough. In the 20s, I assume. Canuckistan, yes, Celsius. but in the same in the summertime. Actually, well, I already told you guys where I grew up, but never got above mid-20s in the summer anyway. So I never had to deal with that, right?
Sorry, Kevin. 22 degrees.
Oh, okay, 22, which is wonderful. I love 22.
I just asked Siri. Okay.
But I mean, actually, my house growing up, we never had air conditioning because we just literally didn't need it. So how would you compare kind of the temperature control, heat management systems in Japanese apartments, homes versus that in other places?
Well, sorry guys, I don't mean to jump in here. We just get that uncomfortable silence if nobody jumps in.
That's all right.
Japanese homes tend to have room conditioners that are up on the wall. Whichever room you want air conditioning in, you're going to have an air conditioner installed. They don't typically do central air here. It's got a lot to do with their insulation's not all that great. Their window sealant's not all that great. You get a lot of cool air coming through, and I think just putting the vents in through the house takes up space that they could use. You know what? I don't know. But when I first came over here, I thought it was really strange just having this one room air conditioner. But now that I'm paying the bills, it makes sense to just heat up or cool down the room that you're in.
But it makes sense because it's not insulation.
House. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
a problem.
The insulation is an issue, right? Because if your house was insulated, that works for hot or cold, just like a thermos, right?
And the newest the houses that are being built in the last 5 years are double paned, insulated. They don't all have central heating, but they have far more efficient units.
Is that in Japan?
Yeah. It's just that people like us, we tend to live in apartments. Yeah. So we're not aware of what's going on now. The newest homes are rapidly different. But it's just so long the industry made money from selling the individual heaters. So there was no incentive because the country was wealthy as a country, not individually, but as a country, they didn't care if they bled people dry. Spending money on kotatsu and aircon and heaters and all sorts of ways to manipulate a basically uninsulated house.
Yeah, because that's the thing. When you have a properly insulated house, in the winter when you heat it up and then you turn off that heat, it stays warm for a long time. And vice versa in the summertime, you cool that house down, it stays cool for a long time, right?
Yeah, and here you shut the AC off, it's hot within a couple minutes.
Like literally, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Like it really is. Like you've got this wonderfully cool room. Maybe the temperature is at 23 degrees or 22 degrees, and outside it's like 35 or 40. You turn that AC off, and literally within a couple of minutes, boom.
I remember. Sorry, it's a little off track here, but I remember when I first came over here back in 1991. 1990. It was the summer of 1990 when I came here on vacation, and I got here in August.
Well, I was in the 9th grade. Sorry.
Oh, shut up.
Thanks, Kevin.
10th grade. Sorry.
Screw you and the horse you rode in on, Kevin. Please continue, Mully.
I flew into Narita.
Love you.
It was good air conditioned airplane, blah blah blah. You get in Narita, it's nice and cool. And anybody that's been in Narita, you know where I'm going. You go out to where the buses are.
Oh, yeah.
That front door opens and you just hit that wall of just heat and humidity. No air is moving, and it literally just sucks the air out of your lungs.
Yeah, that was the first thing I remember.
My God, what is this?
Because when I first came to Japan, it was the summer of 2000, and flying over from Pennsylvania, it was bearable, summer, whatever. You get here, grab our bags, go downstairs, turn that corner, and it was just like, what have we gotten ourselves into?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where I'm at, and it was crazy.
You're worn out, you're tired, you're exhausted, and you're getting on the first time I came here, I took a bus into Tokyo, and just exhausted, and worn out, and irritated. And I'm standing out there and I feel beads of sweat running down the crack of my ass. And I was just like, oh my God, somebody please just kill me now.
Right. But you've been on that plane and you just want to take a shower and get that plane off of you. Yeah. And now you're just outside and gross.
And back then you could smoke on the airplane.
Oh, really?
Oh. So you've got that too, because I was a smoker. And you're sitting there, chain smoking the entire flight.
Really? Like I've never. You smoked on an airplane? Wow.
Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah.
That was what, 1990? You said?
Yeah, 1990.
Really, you could do that in 1990?
I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, well, it's a little off topic, but yeah, you could smoke on airplanes then. Here, you could smoke in the movie theaters at that time.
Wow.
But I'm happy to report to my friends that are listening to me right now, I'm smoke-free for 4.5 months.
Yay! Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
And I have no desire.
Good. That means a lot to me. A lot of you out there might not know, but I am a former smoker. I smoked 2 packs a day for, gosh, how long? I smoked 2 packs a day for about 12 years, actually. No, not that long. Mostly, but I smoked a lot, and I understand. And I quit smoking 10, 11 years ago. So that's a good thing. Good thing for you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so sweating, we sweat. It gets rough. Now I'm curious. You're coming to Japan. You're gonna come here as a teacher to work here, to live here. Is it typical when you get an apartment in Japan, and you're gonna walk in? Are you gonna have that air conditioner on the wall waiting for you?
Well,
because I know I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, see, my apartment was I didn't pick it out or anything. I had no choice in my apartment, and when I got there, it was ready to go. But the insulation on that apartment, we were talking about this earlier, but the insulation on that apartment was so bad that the curtains from my balcony stuck out maybe 3 feet, like just perpetually just stuck out because of the breeze coming through.
Yeah.
And even with the windows closed.
Oh yeah, even with the windows closed. Like, it was great during the summertime because I got a nice breeze that went through. But during the wintertime, trying to heat that place, I was spending like $17,000 a month on electric just trying to heat that place.
How big is your apartment?
That was just a 1K.
Oh my God.
And I lived there for 3 years.
Higgy, when you came over here, did your school set you up with that apartment?
No, the company I work for set me up with that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, basically the same thing.
Yeah.
What I was going to say was, if you're placed in an apartment by a company or a school, you probably have some of the amenities like an air conditioner and stuff like that. Kevin, I believe, came over here on your own.
I came over here on my own. And,
right, and you had to find an apartment, right?
Well, my wife, who is Japanese, was here before me, and she found the place. But we moved into an apartment like a typical Japanese couple would.
Yeah,
I mean,
you weren't set up by a school.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
It's an empty room. Like there's no. I mean, and this is what blew my mind.
You probably even had to buy the lights, didn't you?
Yeah, there was no light. There was not even a light fixture.
Yeah.
We had to buy the light fixture and the lights. And we had
to. That's not always the case. I've been in 3 apartments and they all had lights and aircon.
Yeah. Oh, no. They do exist. What I'm saying is, you're
no promise that there's anything in there.
You're more apt to find if you're coming over with a job and the company is setting you up, you will have those amenities.
No, but I mean, my apartments were all found and they all had them.
No.
You just can't count on them. It depends on the building. It depends on the.
I think maybe like we moved into like kind of it was a 3DK kind of family style apartment.
Yeah, that's different because you're getting a much larger space.
Yeah, so we moved into a bigger family apartment, and that like literally had nothing. Like there's no appliances. There's no, like we had to buy a refrigerator, stove.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that none of the apartments don't have the air conditioning thing. What I'm saying is, if you're out on your own, you're more apt to not have it.
Yeah, well, I think that depends on where you are. Osaka, almost all of them will have air cons, and then they'll have lights, fluorescent, ugly lights that you'll have to throw away. But there'll be no air, refrigerator or stove or anything like that. I just think it depends on where you are. The point is, I think it's important for people who are not here to know you shouldn't count on any of that being there.
No.
Yeah. The first place that I lived in, was set up, and like I actually had to rent a refrigerator, a washing machine, lights, a table, like all of that was added onto my rent because I had to rent that. After the first year, I said screw it and went out and bought all of that stuff on my own. And now the place I live in now, when I got here, the only thing that was here was the AC unit on the wall and a couple of light fixtures. But thankfully, a few years back, I just decided to buy all of my own appliances, because renting them at 7,000 yen a month is not is a really stupid thing to do. But we all do stupid things our first year, so
Yeah.
Oh, don't we?
Doesn't always involve apartments and heating. Speaking of doing stupid things in your first year in Japan, and I thought of drinking. And okay, so
I'm drinking right now.
But there's somebody say, well, I'm having a beverage at the moment too. But I'm thinking about maybe not kind of like entertainment type beverages. But when it comes to the summer heat, coping with that rehydration, is there certain things that you guys do, or kind of like students in Japan, typical people in Japan, what do they do with regards to keeping hydrated?
I'm all water.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like if I drink anything like Coke, I can't now because my situation. We won't even get into that. But any kind of soft drink or something, it just weighs so heavy that it's just like, oh God. I mean, it's just miserable. I prefer a nice glass of water.
Okay.
Aquarius.
Water or mugicha?
Oh, mugicha. I love mugicha.
Barley tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Andrew.
Aquarius. I usually go with Aquarius during the summer.
What is Aquarius?
It's like a Gatorade type sports drink. No, not the song.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of with Andrew there. I mostly drink water, but I suppose for me it's kind
of sorry.
Go. You know what does me? Itohas orange or Mikan flavored water. I drink that stuff, 3 or 4 of those PET bottles a day minimum.
Oh, the flavored water, those are yummy, man. The orange water and the peach water and stuff.
Yeah.
For me, it's got to be the Itohas. I don't like the other companies; they taste chemical.
Okay.
But the Itohas, for some reason, doesn't, and I'm sure it's just an illusion. But I'm happy with that illusion.
I like to drink watered down juice, to be honest, and that's something they always recommend for children. If you have children, you should never give them just like straight up juice. You should like kind of like mix like, you know, like 1/3 juice, 2/3 water, just because of like cavities and sugar and stuff. But I like to do that actually. That's and that like from back when I used to be a marathon runner, which possibly I may be again. Yay! Hopefully, didn't get into Osaka Marathon. Hoping I get into Kobe. But yeah, okay, all right. Hey guys, you know what? I don't want to keep you guys too long here. I know Mully, you got a podcast to record in a few moments, huh?
Yes, and we will be live on YouTube.
You're gonna be live on YouTube, the Mully's Place podcast. You know, I'm gonna wrap this up. I want to thank Andrew, PJ, and Jim. Thank you guys for coming on the podcast.
Always great.
No problem.
Yet again, I'm so happy that I have this awesome crew of people who are always happy to come on. Very quickly before I say goodbye, one more time, Jim, where can people find you online?
You know, everything that you want to find, if you're interested, is at www.mullysplace.com. That's MULLYS place.com.
Awesome. And Andrew, where can people find you online?
Facebook.com/Higgins in Japan. You can find videos and Twitter and all that nonsense that I do. So.
Nice. And PJ, where can we find you online?
Well, my nonsense is mostly at Kansai PJ one word on YouTube or Twitter.
Nice. And all those links will be in the show notes at justjapanpodcast.com. Go check it out under episode number 113, which I'm going to entitle. I can't speak English today. The Dog Days of Summer. Yeah. Because, hey, they're happening. All right, guys.
Juan.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
Thanks,
us.
Gav.
Yeah, no problem.
If anybody's interested in tonight's podcast, Tomoko is Dave is not here tonight. It is Tomoko and myself, and we will be busting some Japanese facts.
Nice. And I'm going to watch that, actually. Right
I'm not sure which job. You mean FAX or FACTS?
FACTS.
And you're on YouTube?
Yeah, some of these
What channel
facts.
is that again?
Some of these facts about Japan, right? Tomoko and I are gonna kind of kick them in the balls.
Nice. Ball kicking time.
Hey, don't get me started on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
See you, fellas.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Okay, and I want to thank Andrew and PJ and Jim, aka Mully, for taking the time to stop by the Just Japan podcast yet again. There will be links to all of their contact information and where they are on the social medias in the show notes at justjapanstuff.com. So go check that out and go over to their stuff and like their stuff and subscribe to the YouTube channels and podcasts and whatnot. So of course, you know, when it comes to contacting the Just Japan podcast on social media, you can always find us on Twitter at JLandKev, on Instagram at JLandKev, and I love my Instagram, guys. Go over there and like my Instagram. I'm really big into it. Love it. I've been having fun with time-lapse. If you want to see some cool time-lapse train videos, go over to my Instagram feed. So what else? You can always email the Just Japan podcast at justjapanpodcast@gmail.com. justjapanpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/BusanKevin or youtube.com/JLandKev. You can see what Japan looks like that way. Go over and subscribe to my YouTube channels if you haven't already. Those links will be in the show notes as well. So that's how you contact us here at the podcast. And of course, remember, guys, the Teespring t-shirt campaign has only a few days left. So go over there and help us meet our goal. We're not there yet. We need to reach our goal for the t-shirts to be made. So you can get yourself a t-shirt. I think it's like $23 US. So it's pretty cheap. It's made of cotton, 100% cotton. It's got the nice Just Japan podcast logo on it. So you got till July 4th to support the Just Japan podcast by buying a t-shirt. So go do it. All right, and that just about does it for another episode of the Just Japan podcast. One thing I want to leave us on a fun, silly little note here. A sign that summer really is here in Japan. How do you know it's summer, guys? Well, you know it's summer when crickets find their way high up in the sky to your apartment balcony, many floors up. recently we've had a cricket on our balcony, and I was just, you can hear what he sounds like. A bit of summer coming up. All right, guys, so take care. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're happy. I hope you're healthy, and I'll be talking to you soon. Thanks for all the support. You guys are great. Hey, guys, Kevin here in Japan. And, this episode's all been about summer in Japan. And he just stopped making his noise. Did you hear that, guys, earlier? We've got a cricket on my balcony. Are you, cricket? Make some noise. Okay, yeah, so I live really high up in an apartment building, and somehow last night a cricket found its way into my balcony, and I can't find it. Pretty cool, though. You can hear it, though. Summer in Japan. Even when you're, 16 plus floors into the sky in an apartment building and a veranda, somehow they can find their way. It's summertime. The crickets and the sweat are here.
Bye.